Okay, thanks so much for joining us. Really do appreciate it. And right after lunch, apology. The good news is that this will be available and people can watch it much later. I'd like to get right to a wonderful introduction of a fantastic person who has actually joined us multiple times on DCD broadcasts at so many of our events. Assaf Skolnik, who's the CEO of RiT Tech. What a pleasure to have you with us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So if we could, Assaf, I'd like to get right into the major problem. What do you see right now as some of the key challenges, or let's go to trends, the key trends that you're seeing in our industry, and also at the same time, you're hearing about this all the time with these trends. Every day, RiT Tech is out there working with great customers, great systems, and you're hearing this. So what are the trends that you're seeing these days?
I think that we are all speaking the same trends all over. It's like high densities, AI is all over.
Sure.
AI workloads and AI implementation and execution, the power challenge, power availability versus the power demand. The same for cooling, liquid cooling, limited capacities, edge data centers, compliance, internal and external compliance and security compliances, sustainability compliances. Those are the main trends that we hear all over. We do not hear enough solutions for those challenges, but those are the main the main trends that we see. But at the same time, I think that the environments become much more complex, the data center environments, and much more complicated, and at the same time, much more smarter. But the management tools, the infrastructure management tools, in the way we see that, they don't moving the same pace. They're pretty much slower in comparison to the existing challenges and the existing complexity.
That is incredibly interesting because the insight of just looking at the complexity and the speed, as you said, that complexity is creating so many challenges, but especially around performance indicators, if I could. So if you could speak about some of these key performance indicators that we should be looking at, because it's always been uptime, downtime, but there's so much more.
Yeah, there is the traditional KPIs like uptime, downtime, PUE, okay? I call it, the static KPIs.
Okay.
That even those KPIs, in our view, is very difficult to achieve, very difficult to measure. The reason is that the environment is siloed. The IT and OT environments are still siloed, which is ridiculous in 2025 to speak about silos and siloed environments. The data is inconsistent, and those KPIs are reactive. So I think that the challenge, first of all, at that level, at the level of existing KPIs, is how to measure them, how to achieve them, and how to define new KPIs, while have to rely on dynamic and intelligent KPIs.
So could you, for a moment, there's a wonderful expression that I know you enjoy from Lord Kelvin, which is you cannot manage something that you're not measuring. And that's critical to you and the folks at RiT Tech. All along, it's always been about measuring, monitoring, and management. Could you talk a little bit how that's a major problem with these KPIs and your thought on this management and measurement issues that RiT Tech can handle?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to add to that statement.
Can you put your microphone closer?
First of all, I would like to add to that statement that you cannot manage what you cannot measure. You cannot manage what you cannot measure, but you also cannot measure what is not connected.
Thank you.
And the majority of environments in data centers and systems are not connected together. So how you can measure it?
Okay, let's then jump into it because you just brought up that last point. How do you do it now? How should companies think about it? But more importantly, what has RiT Tech got available right now? And I know we've got a fantastic new solution that is utter genius. So what's available right now from RiT Tech, and what are you thinking is the solution that you've got right here? And I'm talking a universal solution that's all these issues combined. How do you bring this all together?
Yeah, you're very right. We try to develop a new methodology which is based on universal and intelligence principles. But before that, which I'm going to elaborate in a minute, in a minute, I think that the perception or the approach towards infrastructure management tools has to be different. In our view, like you have CRM to manage your business and marketing, like you have ERP to manage your finance and logistic, you have to have a platform or comprehensive tool that will manage your infrastructure. You have to give it the same level of importance. The way we approach it, because the environments are so complex and dynamic, and everything is around data,
Right.
and the environments are siloed, you have to have a tool that is universal towards the environment. Universal in perspective of type of data centers, universal in perspective of environments, of systems and subsystems, universal in perspective of stakeholders. That you have to have common platform for multiple stakeholders.
Sure.
So universality is a key for the next steps of management. Once you have this universality piece and everyone speaks the same language, you have to have the intelligence layer in order to allow true management of that environment. How can you manage such complex environment with a lot of data running back and forth while you don't have one unified data store that on top of that you can add intelligence layer which human cannot handle such massive data.
That's interesting, Assaf, because it's back to your point of very often, and you and I had a chance to chat before, which was wonderful, but even looking at the legacy environment, like you're saying, it's siloed. The legacy thinking is siloed. Mechanical over here, IT over there, OT over there. And it's that legacy issue of the DCIM that's hurting us. Could you go further into this universality and the product and solution that you've got available now? Please.
Yeah. First of all, our product and our solution, our platform, is designed based on those principles of universality and intelligence.
Thank you.
I think that whatever we have now is beyond what currently the market is ready to accept. I think that this market, infrastructure, engineering people are still conservative with their approach. So I think that it has to be executed in steps. First of all, you have to have the basics. The basic is to have accurate data and to have engagement with the data and interface with the data which comes from multiple sources. For that, you need technology. It's not just integration between third-party systems or subsystems. You have to collect the data and use this data, turn this data into actionable data, and turn this data into intelligent data, into automated workflows. So what we do today, we have the ability to collect the data.
Yes.
We have the ability to use this data for automation of workflows. And the next steps, which is already available, but is still, I feel that operational engineers are yet to be ready to accept it, is operations which based on prediction and proactive and not reactive, like the KPIs, which are reactive. And I would like to say a few words about KPIs later, okay?
Please.
Because I think that it's ridiculous and it's frustrating. And I don't understand how come, at the end of the day, this industry is managed by talent, smart, intelligent people. Such expensive and critical environment, critical for the business, critical from other elements, is not managed through KPIs. And, the KPIs has to be, in order to bring value through those KPIs, the KPIs has to be divided into three, which is environmental, KPIs for efficiency, sustainability, etc., and so on. Operational KPIs, that your teams and your environment will be operated properly. And the third one, which is connected the two first, is business KPIs. How your technology and your operations are impacts your business. And I think that this universality and intelligence will allow us to move from reactive KPIs that relying on the history and on the past towards dynamic and predictive and intelligence KPIs. And this comes to to the point that I mentioned previously, it's not just automation and intelligence based on the current status of the data center, but also on prediction and proactive approach.
That is a wonderful view forward, not back.
Yeah.
And that's part of Kelvin's entire thinking. So genius. Continue on with this universality and this intelligence thing that you're talking about. Please explain this more.
No, from the universality brings teams together. It brings teams to speak the same language, to use the same interface, the same data, sharing data. We call it data transparency between the team. And once those silos are removed, and the teams and stakeholders using the same methodologies, the same data, speaking the same language, it brings to the organization better efficiencies at different levels. And only then you can start to think how you implement intelligence and AI. Because everybody talking about AI, right? But AI in operations, I don't see that anywhere. There are some elements in some certain areas of the data center that you have some level of intelligence. But AI to support operations, we don't see that. And the UIM, the universality, will be needed as a data source that collects the data from multiple sources in order to move it to the next step with AI applications.
Absolutely wonderful. That's taking the DCIM concept of just that visibility that we've always enjoyed. Hey, I can see it. But now you're taking it into a truly decision-making, not a reactive discussion area to, we need to work on that, it's part of the maintenance schedule. You're really talking about a change in thinking, change of intelligence, if I could. So could you explain UIM and what it actually means, universal intelligent, what is it, infrastructure management. So this UIM is fantastic as a decision-making tool, but as a visibility and operating tool.
It's absolutely, it's first of all, it's for operations. We are only talking about how to run better your operations through your infrastructure and how this is going to impact your business. We believe, that the proper KPIs will necessarily improve the efficiency and the performance of your operations and your business results. The way you will operate your business, your infrastructure, the way you will operate your data center, your facility, your IT, will impact your business performance.
Absolutely. Going from parameters only, does it fit within the box, to actually thinking about the decision making of how to change that box. I know we're running out of time, Assaf, so I'm so happy to have you, but here we go. I got to ask you, how are KPIs changing with this AI? How is AI being enabling this capability to change my decision-making process? Talk about that a bit.
So the idea is to move from the static KPIs like PUE and uptime into predictive and adaptive KPIs. I can give you several examples. For instance, predictive efficiencies is one example. Which is dynamic and changes over time, and you can improve yourself during the processes itself, during the operation itself. It's not just relying on the history, you're also improving yourself based on this prediction. This is number one. Another example is mean time to recovery, which is critical and crucial to your business. Auto time to service, how you improve your time to services and what impacts your time to service. Time to service is money, is revenues to the organization. Sustainability or sustainability workloads, how you measure a carbon footprint per workload. That can be achieved through those KPIs that relying on AI and intelligence.
That is absolutely wonderful. And it's a total change in thinking. It's very great. So let's get finally into this concept of AI and UIM together and how this is really changing what we're looking at in terms of getting to the data, getting to the response, getting to the management. And I just want to turn it to you because I know we're right near the end. We've only got 5 minutes left. Talk us through that. AI and UM together.
AI and AI is part of the UIM. Okay?
There you go.
Okay. AI, and by the way, we do not try to replace existing systems or existing solutions. We would like to plug in those systems, and we would like to have AI ops as part of the UIM. Okay, for instance, everybody is also talking about AI ops. AI ops solve issues at the logical layer, and again, like DCIM, like other infrastructure discussions, it never connected to the physical layer. So AI ops is it's a plug-in. It's a big portion of the UIM in perspective of the intelligence. So the UIM is not just principles. It's methodology. It's different way of thinking. How you connect different environments, different systems in one place to orchestrate different processes from different environments. So AI is mandatory part of the UI.
I love this actually because you're not getting rid of the DCIM. Everyone's got it. They paid for it. They're not going to give up their CapEx and their OpEx. But UIM is actually the perfect addition, capability that's needed. It's turning that DCIM into an AI tool with better intelligence.
And moving from monitoring towards management. Moving from monitoring towards predictive and proactive.
Fantastic.
And
That's
DCIM, I think the DCIM as it used right now in the market, with the majority of cases, is great monitoring tool. It's great data source for particular environment, because some of DCIM are implemented for the IT, some of the DCIMs are implemented for the facility, and for power monitoring or other sensors monitoring. So depends how you implement the DCIM,
Right.
but we don't tell you change your DCIM. Keep the DCIM. We will use this data. It's not. It can be continued as a monitoring system,
Right.
but we can collect the data and present it in different ways as well.
And within this is a tremendous amount of optimization also at the same time. I can finally optimize for the workload requirements, as you're saying, AI, we're hearing all this news about it. I can finally optimize my operations for this new workload requirement.
Absolutely. And you can plan it better as well. The idea is also to plan it and to predict it in advance and not just to react to it.
Assaf, these were expensive chips. This is wonderful. Thank you.
expensive.
You're saving everybody money. So if we could, let's try and get into more of a closing element of, if I were to look at, I've already got my DCIM and now I'm looking at UIM, I've got to ask you, let's get to a final thought process of how UIM turns your DCIM into that intelligent tool set that's smarter than ever, but how it has a much better predictive capability. Can you take us out with intelligence? Take us out with what we need to think. And I'm looking at my notes because one of the key things is I kept on writing down intelligence. That was it. I mean, I love this. So take us out, please, if you could.
First of all, it's a big challenge, okay? DCIM is just one element in the overall data sources, okay? Because in order to run proper AI, you need the data. So DCIM is just one source. BMS is another source. IT systems are other. CMDB, okay, is another source. You have to have different sources in order to turn this reactive environment, monitored environment, into actionable environment. And what we say, okay, first of all, you have to have unified data of both facility and IT. Mm-hmm. You have to define measurable KPIs, which are based on which are dynamics and based on prediction. Mm-hmm. Then applying intelligence into that, and then you can optimize your environment.
So this is absolutely
But
wonderful.
it's dynamic optimization, of
And
course.
it's dynamic learning, dynamic optimization, dynamic utilization, dynamic capabilities. That's absolutely wonderful. How fast should people be doing this? Like now?
No, they are not. I think that it's a process. It's
Okay.
a process. It's
Okay.
a creation. I think data center operators are not ready to. They wish they want to adapt it. They are not ready to adapt it.
Okay.
I think the environment is not ready for that. Okay. So what we do usually, and we do not offer a software license. We offer a comprehensive UIIM platform, but we offer it, and it's mandatory, part of our offering, to buy from us the adoption and the implementation, like CRM and ERP.
Right.
You don't just to buy the license. You have to adapt it. You have to customize it to your processes, to your flows, to your organization policies and regulations. The same over here. So it's a journey that we are going together with the customer. So I think from the moment you start with the UIIM adoption till the time you will see automation outputs,
Okay.
I think it will take you at least 1 year. At least.
A year. You know, that's
But in that year, you are building a processes, you are building methodology, you are building workflows, you are establish better data source.
Assaf, I'm sorry to tell you, a year is a very short period of time. Good thing you're there. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, let's be honest, legacy was yesterday. We're done.
No,
It's now-
legacy is still today,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. Well, it's still around
Steven.
today. So, last thoughts, walking away, how's the best way to work with RiT Tech? How is the best way to get you engaged with what's going on in our facilities now?
Talk to us.
Reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out, and you've got the folks able to reply.
Yeah, we are supporting from the pre-sale process, scoping, designing, and execution. We are very much keen to have those discussions. We are actually improving our technology, our offering through those discussions, because there is almost every opportunity, significant opportunity involves with new functionalities,
Right.
and even new modules that we develop to our customers. Customers today, they are so frustrating from the traditional tools that they are taking the traditional tools functionalities and leveraging that and taking that to the edge. Customers asking from us, for instance, to develop them a warehouse module that they can plan
Gotcha.
the changes in or new implementations from the warehouse through the execution. So we are open to any discussion like that.
So I've got to come back to a final closing element for you in terms of you can really help companies not only through the redundancy and reliability requirements of equipment sourcing and utilization and their logistics, but also in their operational excellence through the KPIs in the facility itself. You're taking the entire chain.
This is a platform. This is a platform.
I mean, I'm sorry, DCM doesn't really care at all about your platform. They don't care what's in the warehouse.
Yeah.
They just tell you it's there.
Best case scenario.
Best
case scenario. You're optimistic.
I am optimistic about it. I'm a happy guy. I'm also going to win the lottery. But more importantly, when we're taking a look at, I don't need to get rid of my DCM, you're willing to come in and work with me, there's a partnership developing between you and the customer together.
Wow, you're so right. You know, you remind me just one of our, third biggest customer that has already chosen a DCIM tool. We came at the very last minute through the introduction. We introduced the solution and the platform to them, and then he chose our solution. We asked him why. It was already in purchasing, and he said two things: your solution, your functionalities, but most important thing is the partnership. We felt that you're a partner, and this is what I think that makes the difference. That you're with your customer, and this is by the way very difficult to identify the right partners for us to deliver the technology, to deliver the implementation. It's very difficult for us.
And that says a lot about you also, that you're even selecting your partnerships. Assaf, I'm sorry, we've actually gone over time and I'm getting the look. Sir, it is always a pleasure. Assaf Skolnik, you are the CEO of RiT Tech, an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.